This is the Ace Founder Podcast.
Welcome to the show, PingChen. It's an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much, Savi. Thanks for inviting.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. We're going to be talking about you, your work, the work you do, and CybPass, which is your company, and I am looking forward to diving into that. But before we do, I always like to let our guests introduce themselves because you're going to do a way better job at it than I do. So could you tell us a little bit more about you and about the work you do?
Sure. So I'm PingChen. I'm a co-founder, CEO at CyPass. I'm from Taiwan originally. I came to the UK when I was aged at 18, and for my bachelor in computer science, then I have a major in cybersecurity later. And I did a master in London School of Economics for marketing. Before I graduated from a master, I decided to found CyPass alongside with my current co-founder, Dr. Aryan. Together, we decide to commercialize the research that we are working together, which is AI security and governance. Then we won a grant from Innovate UK, and that's how we start CyPass. I don't have any big cooperation background or how to say that. I don't have any prior working experience. I just decided to start a business from scratch at a place that I have any network resources.
Well, that's such an amazing story, though, that you could do that with a little background and you could, start
and
a company.
Within a short period.
Yeah.
So basically, I started at 2024, and now it's 2026. So within 2 years, we have. Originally, it's only two of us, so me and my co-founder, Dr. Within 2 years, we have attract more grant funding. We have raised investment from institution fund, complete several programs, including government-funded programs. So Innovate UK, Cyber Ace App, and Texas Cyber Runway. And we also won a lot of recognition. So we get selected as the Breakout 50 by Tech Nation. We get selected by the top 40 12-use startup by European Innovation Council. And we also get selected as a top UK cybersecurity SME by UK government to join the trade mission. So within a short period of time, we actually did quite a lot of things.
That is really, really cool. Really, and you guys got in there because I don't know. You tell me though, because of you're in the AI space, and I'm thinking AI became mainstream maybe 3 years ago, or maybe it's about a 3-year thing. So, is this something you were privy to before? Did you know AI was coming and then decided to go in, or did you stumble on it?
Yeah, we did actually. That's one of the motivation when we start CyPass is we know the era of AI is coming. Not only when AI is adopting in coding, I think that's what I think AI in engineering. It's the first heat wave of the industry. So you see like Cursor, Codex, all of those foundation models, they are the first wave. And there's a lot of cybersecurity solution exist for them already. And they are targeting prompt injection, model data leakage. They're targeting the model hijacking. But CyPass will perspect in a quite different angle. We are perspect when those AI that they are going to sit in physical environment. So that means when AI is sitting into autonomous system, that autonomous vehicle, robots, drones, or any other aerospace application, we are perspecting that these application that sit in real world will be driven by AI soon. It used to be driven by software, but we saw that most of the lead player in this area that they start making all this application AI driven. So we are perspecting this industry is going to evolve faster than everyone can imagine. Like autonomous vehicle is running in the road already in London. Like see how regulated this country is. And you can see that the Wave, Oxa, Waymo, Baidu Apollo, couple of companies, they're running their autonomous technology on road. And this will be expand for drones and defense technology. So we need to ensure that those systems that they make decision their own through AI is secure, safe, and
Mm.
compliant.
I like that, and you're spot on because of the UK is very regulated. So to get the autonomous vehicles to
Yeah.
pass regulation, that tells you something. Something big is really coming. All right, let's talk about CyPass. I always like to know, how did you come about the name? What's the story behind that? Yeah.
It's an interesting story. So yeah, I named CyPass. So CyPass is named after my thought. Originally we called ATM. So it's like cash machine. It's the same ATM as cash machine when we
Okay.
are applying the grants from Innovate UK. Um,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of cybersecurity company they start the name of cyber because it's cyber.
Mm.
But the main, how to say that, the main message we want to deliver to audience is we can help you to pass all of the cybersecurity challenge that is
Mm.
emerging and evolving.
Mm.
Yeah. And you see the logo. This is like a falcon. This is a
Yeah.
falcon. I designed it by my own as well. And there's two
Nice.
reasons why I designed this logo. First is CyPass is building offensive security technology and we want to
Yeah.
act as falcon that can capture vulnerability risk very sharp in a very sharp way. But another meaning of falcon is my co-founder Dr. Aryan. His mom name is Shaheen. He's from Persian. He's from Iran originally, and her mom's name
Mm.
means falcon. And that's another reason why I select this icon as a logo. Yeah.
Mm. Really cool. I always enjoy the stories of the founding stories of companies. It's something I really, and I've heard so many things from
Yeah.
religious to so it's really cool stories. Awesome. And in particular, what problem exactly do you guys solve? I know cyber covers this whole broad spectrum, but is there any particular niche you guys focus on, or what you
Yeah.
guys do?
So basically, we are solving a challenge when, as I mentioned earlier, when those
Mm.
physical autonomous system they are transforming from traditional machine learning plus software with loads of sensor into AI driven. So there's going to be a gap that there's going to be new threats, new vulnerability
Mm.
that is evolving very, very fastly. And a
Yeah.
traditional cybersecurity methodology approach may not work. So it including threat model, pen testing, and compliance check. So CyPass will decide to
Mm.
fulfill a gap to build a technology that is adaptive and it's specifically designed for AI and I would say advanced software that is powering those physical autonomous systems that drive decision and action.
Love it. Sounds like busy times for you guys ahead because of everybody's AI crazy right now. So I'm guessing you guys are at the right time, the right place at the right time, so to speak. So really cool. How has the journey been though for you since you started? You're just 2 years old. What would you say that has been like?
Uh, It's a challenge, really.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, that I'm a young
Mm.
founder, international
Mm.
founder, like starting a business in UK it's not easy.
Mm.
So we actually work as a project at University of Sheffield for nearly 2 years, and we just
Okay.
incorporate last September. So as a corporate,
Oh, wow.
we are just like less than a year old, but we work
Yeah.
in this project for around 2.5 years at the moment. So the journey looks okay. We have suffered through a lot of challenge as we're first of all
I can
we're
imagine.
we're all academic background, so we're all research background, technology background. It's a bit challenging for us at the beginning to commercialize the idea, but we learned through a lot of failure and we tackle it. And at the end of the day, we successful spin out the company, raise investment, launch a product, and complete some trials with customer. And we are now in very good shape in commercialization and for future venture scale.
That's brilliant. When you get past the early startup headaches,
It is.
it's brilliant to get into some kind of motion going. So that's awesome. Let's talk about this. before you said this, I've never come across it before. The ISO 42001. How do you, is that? Did I get that right? The ISO 42
Yeah, ISO
4200.
40001.
Okay. So what is that exactly? And let's start with that. What, for those of our audience and me that are not familiar with it, what is that?
So ISO 42001 is one of the, how to say that, world leading compliance for AI governance, and it's mainly for AI information management and control. And that's kind of extension of ISO 70001, but it's specifically for AI. Yeah. So that's how government frame it as ISO 42001.
I see. So it's something that every AI, any business in AI now needs to be compliant
Uh,
with or needs to
I
know
would
about,
say
basically.
it's not must at the moment, but because you know that this standard it was published in December 2023, and I would say this is the first international standard that specifically addressing AI management. But I would say probably late. I remember if I'm not if I didn't like misunderstand, if I didn't forgot, if I memorize it correctly, later this year it will become mandatory for enterprises to be compliant with this standard. And
Wow.
this standard it doesn't own, so this standard it's not only for the enterprises that they build AI technology, but it also adopt for those enterprises or startup that they use AI technology in their product, or even they're using AI tool. So for example, if you're a company that you are using ChatGPT, or you're using Claude, you're using Cursor, then you also need to demonstrate that you are aligning with ISO 42001.
Very interesting. So they want to be, I'm guessing it's a safety thing. They want to make sure everybody is behaving
It's not only
in a
safety, I
certain
would
kind
say
of
it's
way.
the management. So the full name is ISO 42001. The full name is AI Management System. So it's a AIMS.
Okay.
So it's a, as I mentioned, it's an extension of ISO 27001, which is most of the company in the world need to be aligned with. So any of the company
With
that
that.
you need to align with ISO 27001 is more like information management system. But now there is a specifically standard for AI management system.
I see. So what does a compliance look like then? What are things that companies can do to actually meet or achieve compliance with the
So
42001?
there's multiple clause in the ISO 42001, and it's more like to do checklist. So for example, there is a couple of area that is going to be included in a standard. So I would say this is it's probably going to be there's a couple of areas including in a standard. So the first one is I would say is related with governance. So any organization that I mentioned earlier, if they use AI, build AI, you need to define an AI policy. You need to assign roles and responsibility for AI governance, and to ensure that everything is accountable. So that means that you will be able to manage a risk by defining the policy. And you need to conduct the risk assessment on every AI system. So it's very straightforward to understand, because you're using AI technology in the organization, and you need to conduct a very structured risk assessment that is mentioning in the standard, and you will be able to identify what's a risk if I adopt this AI technology or if I build this AI technology, and you can understand what's the tolerance level of organization if anything goes wrong. And data governance is also including, so how you're going to collect your data, how you're going to label it, and how you're going to store and use it for training, and everything need to be documented and controlled. So that means that you will have a very strong data pipeline to train your own AI technology, or be, I would say, adopting into your product pipeline. And there's a couple of things is there, but the whole standard is massive. But I would say, look, the key journey of ISO 42001 is you need to identify a gap and you need to establish. So basically, you need to understand what's area of the standard you didn't satisfy, and you're going to understand what's a gap you need to fulfill, and you need to establish the management system, the AI management system, mainly with policies. So you need to define how you're going to use this AI technology and what the procedures you're going to implement it, and to conduct the risk assessment for all AI system and implement controls and document evidence, conducting auditing and run a management review. And nowadays, like tooth suit, I would say in the UK we have BSI and SGS. They're like those external certification audit body that they can give the standard and accreditation. So this is probably the whole process will looks like.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I can see why it's valuable and why it's important to achieve compliance, because everything is AI these days. Like from every app and every tool you use now has some form of AI, which begs the question, like you said, if they're gonna make this compulsory at some stage, does that affect every business? I mean, I'm a small business. I use ChatGPT and some other AI tools. Is this something that is relevant to me as well, or will be relevant to me?
It might be relevant if you are running
Yeah.
if you're running it as a business, but if you're like using on your own, it might not that impact. But if you're working on your own project, that may be important for you to get aware how you can mitigate the
Okay.
risk. Yeah.
Okay. And you also talked about identifying the gaps. Yeah, I'm guessing this is something that you're going to need like a professional to help you identify those gaps, because I'm thinking if you're a bigger company, like, knowing where those gaps are. Although you tell me, what are your thoughts around that?
So I would say in the ISO 42001, when you're conducting a gap analysis, it really depends on the clauses. So we're going to run through the like clause by clause. So for example, did you manage the data? Did you manage the data correctly? And did you assign any ownership for AI risk? So this is basically going to identify are there any gap. So yes or no, and if it's no, how many percentage of the action has been taken or not. So we call it gap analysis. And there's like I remember there's like dozens of clauses. Let me check how many clauses there is in ISO
Yeah,
42001. But there's a
that's
lot of
crazy,
clauses
man.
you need to
Wow.
went through. Let me
Yeah, and you need to check each every
Yeah,
single
you need to
clause, or
check
is that
every single clause. Okay, so
wow?
there's 10 main clauses, but in
Okay.
each clauses there is like a multiple objective. So that means that
Okay.
there's 10 big clauses and there is like an additional 38 control objective you need to conduct. Yeah.
Is that something you guys do at CyPass, or is that part of your role?
Yes, we definitely did that. But
Okay.
we are working in a quite different way. So traditionally, when you're going to run through the whole ISO 42001 progress, um, majority of the company in the world at the moment they do it manually, and it takes around 6 to 12 months. You need to involve
Oof.
consultants, and you need to producing static documents that are outdated, which the AI system is updated because the AI system will evolve, and you need to ensure that the compliance was not just at a standpoint, as it's just not I would say at a specific time point. So for example, if you're compliant now today, but you might not be compliant in a couple of weeks because your AI system
Wow.
update fast. So we need to ensure that we are delivering adaptive compliance measurement system for our clients. So they will have a platform that can help them to run an analysis. So basically help them to run a gap analysis, risk assessment, and the rest of the action that is mandatory for ISO 42001. Help them to get the accreditation faster. But at the same time, it's more like a monitoring system that can tell them, okay, based on the involvement of your business, as there's more AI technology is going to be adopted, as there are going to be more AI technology going to get built for a company, how you're going to meet the ISO 42001 continuously.
Standard. Yeah. Yeah, because that post, you're spot on with that, because of AI is changing so quickly and new tools are coming in, and Lord knows what they're doing with your APIs and stuff like that. So you're gonna need, like you said, an adaptive system to do this. That's very, very interesting. And in terms of accreditation, now, is it when you work with clients, do you come in, you do the gap analysis, you help them, build that adaptive system, and then do you like send it off to the standards body to get the accreditation, or how does that
So
work?
basically, we're not engaging directly with any accreditation body.
Okay.
We're more like a tool provider, like more like engineering tool to help them to complete the
I
process
see.
faster and help them to
I
get more
see.
confidence when they're sending the evidence to the accreditation body.
I see. Okay. Okay. Oh, so it's pretty much like a tool they use to,
Exactly.
make sure. I see. I see. I see. Oh, okay. Oh, I get it now. And then the accreditation now looks at what. Oh, but that means you guys built your tool to basically meet the accreditation, the board standards, basically. I see. I see. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's a very valuable tool, I can imagine, because if you're gonna have all these checklists, like you said, 10 and each having
It is.
32. That's
I would say so. Let's take an example that we're working on. It's a government body in APAC. So we're working with them. So traditionally, most of them, when they're running those compliance check, it's more like a checkbox list. They're gonna tick yes or no, and this may work easily. This works very easily, but you cannot identify what's the real gap, and you
okay.
might miss the real risk that may damage your business further. Like although aligning with ISO 42001 is like any compliance may looks burden for any business because you're thinking why I need to spend this money, why I need to get those accreditation. It's spending a lot of time, effort, money, but you need to think about those accreditation is actually protecting you for the bigger loss if you didn't align with it because this is a standard to help you to manage the risk in a proper way that you can reduce. I would say you can reduce the harm of your business as much as possible by introducing those emerging AI technology.
I love that you brought that point, because that was gonna be my next question. What if you don't? If you decide to skip accreditation, what is the? Do you get fined for it,
We
or
don't have
do you?
fine at the moment.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I remember like there's not any fine at the moment, but
Okay.
there is going to be some restriction soon if company didn't align with ISO 42001. But there's no
Okay.
fine at the current stage.
Okay. Sounds brilliant, man. Sounds like a really valuable tool, and something I can see a lot of businesses like will need to use to navigate their way through that accreditation process. So I think you guys have built something really valuable here.
Yeah.
PingChen,
To
this has
to
been an
mention one thing.
yeah, go.
So ISO 42001, as I mentioned, it's a volunteering standard. So there's no any restriction. You say, okay, you must do it. But like Europe is coming up with the EU AI Act, which is mandatory, and the fine is up to 35 million euros or 70% of the global annual turnover for any prohibited AI practices. And ISO 42001 is a mandatory process with AI system management in the EU AI Act. Yep, and this practice is going to be started at August this year for any high risk AI system.
Wow, 70% of your profit
No,
of your revenue they're
not
gonna collect.
7%, not 70%,
Oh,
7%.
seven. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, oh wow, that's still incredibly high. That's enough motivation to make sure you're accredited, man.
yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah, ISO
And this is
42001
the
is
thing.
very important
Yeah,
to meet the
yeah,
EU Act requirements. There's a part that
yeah.
mentioning.
Yeah. Because another challenge for businesses. You do for ISO, you do for the Europe one, you probably do for the US one as well. So you have to meet all these regulations if you're going to play into market. But it's like you said, it's protection at the end of the day for your business.
Exactly.
So that's the ultimate thing. Pink Check, this has been a wonderful, wonderful chat. I've really enjoyed learning more about you and the awesome tool you guys have built. You've really broken it down and explained this because I was while looking into this, I was thinking this is going to be a really a high tech convo, but I like the way you simplify everything. Yeah. So as we wrap up, I always like to finish with if you could advise, drop up one piece of advice for any viewer watching this regarding ISO 42000. Let me make sure I get that right. 42001 compliance. What would that be?
So let me think about it. I would say start start the start getting familiar with what is AI policy, like internal AI policy is for your business, and start documented any AI application that you're using or any AI tool that you're building, what's a pipeline, anything needs to be documented and ensure it's traceable. I think that's something I'll
Hmm.
advise for any company that they haven't started engaged with ISO 42001, but this can be a very good starting point for them, as those are
Hmm.
the initiate point for ISO 42001 to bring up the policy. So first of all, is identify the gap through clauses and build a policy that can manage the AI system. So anything need to be documented and traceable. So whenever you want to start, get compiled with get compliant with the ISO 42001, you don't need to spend that much of effort to to get everything all together. Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
it.
but
I love it. It's
one
going
thing,
to be, yeah.
if you're
Go on.
using
Yeah.
CyPass product, then you can you don't need to get any preparation because we our tool can
Oh.
automatically capture and get all of those prior information that must be included for ISO 42001 compliance fully
Hmm.
autonomously. So one, you just need to connect us with all of the tool, the third party tool or any document management system you're using internally in the business, and our tool will run autonomously, capture all of those information. So if you didn't build the traceability from day one, CyPass can help you to do that.
That's so cool. I was gonna even ask follow up with that in terms of how it works. Yeah, but I think you've kind of touched a little bit on that. So what they do is they install it on their backend on their server, and then, like you said, it looks at what they do,
No, so
and
so
or
ISO for
yeah,
so CyPass, the product we are launching called Themis, it's can be run on cloud and it can also be run on
okay,
prem. So basically, it's a product that we're going to ask for around like 40 question. It's kind of there's an onboarding process. There's around 40 questionnaire the our
okay,
customer needs to respond to, and based on those responses, we're going to help them to identify what's a gap in the through clause by clauses, and how they can mitigate those gaps. So what's the countermeasure they need to conduct, and afterward, we help them to generate the internal AI policy, or if there's any internal AI policy is built, we'll help them to enhance it. And then we're going to give the risk assessment and the rest of the information that is required. And I would say the state of art is the tool that we build can be connected with any, I would say, application. So it can be like a connector with all of the information management system that the customer is using. So they don't need to drag and drop all of the evidence, documents, like in different places, because at the moment you can imagine that all of those information is distributing in different team, and if they need to conduct for compliance check, they need to like go and speak with different team, get those information, and then conduct the analysis. And if they need evidence, they need to go back to the team again and ask them. And this takes time to conversation. But with us, we can automatically capture and put all of those evidence in the same tool, and everyone can manage the whole ISO 42001 in the same platform.
That is really cool. Simplifying the process. Nothing like make a tool that makes your life easier
Exactly.
instead of complicating it more. So I love that. PingChen, this has been a wonderful, wonderful chat. Thank you so much for coming on. It's truly it's been an awesome. I appreciate it. Where can our viewers go learn more about you or possibly work with you? What's the best way for them to do that?
Just connect me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect me, and that's the best approach to contact.
Okay, and they could visit the CyPass website
Yeah,
as well.
of course, they can visit CyPass
Yeah,
website.
yeah.
So AI governance is
What?
just a part of CyPass. As I
Okay.
introduced at the very beginning, we're mainly working in security, and governance is an extension of that. But we're mainly working on threat model, pen testing, on these AI assets that will be adopted in physical autonomous system, and we're helping them to align with ISO 42001, which is the first standard we have in the product. But there's going to be more standard that's going to integrate. Yeah.
Love it. Wicked. Maybe we could have you come back on to give us a I don't know, inside look of the software if you want to show that. That would be something that could make, actually that would be very, very good content. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much again for coming on. Truly, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure as well. Thank you so much, Savi, for having me.